All right, welcome. I think we're live. Welcome to Married with Issues 41. I'm Solgr only.
Fusha only as well, and our amazing guest, TheBoyWhoHad7.
What's up?
How are you doing? I almost said tonight, but not quite night yet. But
Not for us, man. Not for us in the Pacific Coast. It's still afternoon, right?
yeah,
I am doing good. I took that huge hiatus from YouTube and Instagram, kind of just pulled myself back a little bit. And I'm excited to be back. First time in the new year on your guys' show. So it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So good to have you.
Yeah, we're excited to be doing this too, because we kind of came up with this kind of right at the end of last year, right at the beginning of the year. I'm like, we should do something, throughout the year. And we've always wanted to do kind of like a community spotlight kind of thing. And where we're going to do it is, so like once a month, we'll have kind of like a community member kind of the month kind of thing. Awesome. And we'll have them on usually the first show of the month. This one, like you said, you were busy last week. Whoops, sorry. God, I hit the mic.
It depends on schedules and everything.
Yeah, schedules and everything, yeah. Permitting and whatnot. But
well, I do want to thank GP and Metarog, Mr. Grails, Stay Puff. Thanks to you guys all for joining us and being with us.
What's up, guys?
Good to see you.
Yeah, I hope everyone's having a good weekend.
McD's in there too.
So. Hey, McD.
DS Comics as well.
Yes, DS Comics. See, super rested. Good to see you. Got to shout out the chat and I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. That's actually what I was gonna say next. It was gonna see who's in chat and all that. Yeah, we literally just barely got back home too, so we're as usual, like kind of just diving in.
Scatterbrained.
Scatterbrained is all hell.
Yeah. So you guys want to start doing it on the first of every month, the first Saturday of every month for the spotlight?
Yeah, that's what we're thinking. Where we'll have them like on the show, and also probably kind of like a spotlight thing on our blog on the website too.
Cool. He does a lot of stuff behind the scenes that I'm like, that's a lot of effort.
Yeah.
I don't have that much energy.
Yeah. I mean,
some days I do, but he does a lot.
I always kind of dive into stuff too much. And yeah, because she literally does kind of just the show. Like she just shows up, like she's.
And I read.
Yeah, but I got like, there's the blog.
I do tags though.
Run all our social accounts too, like Instagram and even Twitter now. And like.
That's cool. That's cool.
And I'm so scatterbrained anyways. It's like, and then trying to read and trying to keep up on all that. And
it's another job, man, doing this whole comic book YouTube thing.
It really is. Yeah. Because I was doing so many tags for so long that I'm like, okay, I just need a second. And then I'll get back to all the tags. I'm kind of falling behind.
Breaks.
Take a second. It's okay. Recoup. Come back.
Yeah. And another thing, I've been... I guess kind of like the last week or so, not heavy, but I've finally been drawing again a little bit more. And I was actually going to surprise Matt. I actually sent it to him right before we jumped on with him. The drawing that I've been working on for him as part of this spotlight thing too. I don't know. I'm just going to hold it up on my phone because I don't know how it's going to.
We don't know how to
translate. Yeah, this probably isn't going to.
I don't know how it's going to work.
Especially with that, I don't think that's going to work.
There you go. Oh, man, I'm so excited. I love it. Dude, you are so good. You are so good, bro.
Thank you so much. I've always said like how important art is to me and how big part of me it is. And when I haven't really been doing it much the last couple of years, and this is a totally different way of doing it too, because I've never really done digital before.
There's like literally a box from when we moved underneath the desk of all of his old drawings that he just like. There's so many prints of all of his old art. And
I still have a lot.
So happy to see him drawing again.
All my old tattoo supplies and everything too. I still have all that.
You know what? I think the first time I ever watched you guys' show, you were talking about you used to do a lot of tattoo work, art, and I think you also used to do a lot of tagging.
Graffiti.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, that's cool. And I think you had a hat even at one point, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I was only last week too. Even
there's Solgr only.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And that was so long ago, and I remember that, and I was like, oh, this is cool, man. I wanted to see more, and then you kind of put it away.
I know that's why when I bring it up, it's really crazy to think like how I hadn't drawn, because how big of a part of me it was. Like she said, the first words she ever said to me were, "What are you drawing?" Because it was literally like at a house party, and I'm the awkward kid in the corner sitting there drawing. Like,
my brother had invited me out to go hang out, and I'm like, okay, I don't really drink much, but I saw him just sitting there on the couch. The kids are watching Wreck-It Ralph, and the adults are just having their conversations. And I'm like, okay, what's this kid doing? What are you drawing? And
like, who's this weirdo with his head in a book?
I love hearing that, guys. That's so cool.
So good to see him drawing again.
Yeah, and it's cool. I like doing it this way because it's just another different medium, because like I said, I've worked with spray paint and stuff before, and tattooing, and then even acrylics and oils and stuff like that.
One of the first things he drew for me was actually the second. It was a TARDIS, and it was for Valentine's Day, and it was true love spans all dimensions. But he wasn't a Whovian yet, and so in the drawing you don't see the police sign on the door. But afterwards he's like, oh, I didn't even notice that detail, but I just remember asking him like why he was asking me questions about Doctor Who. I'm like, I thought that's a show we were never going to get into, and then he actually got into it. So but, I still have that framed around here somewhere.
Yeah, I probably should have pulled better reference.
You still did really good though.
It's good stuff, man. Perry's like, what are you drawing? Instant love.
Yes,
for real. Yeah, it was pretty immediate.
Not necessarily, Carol. You can do it on a phone because that's how he's been doing it.
No way.
Yeah. He's just been drawing
it's on
it
my note. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
With I have like a stylus, so it's not like my finger, but it's just because it's the note. So I literally just use the one that comes with it.
Okay, so I'm not gonna say anything, but that other picture you showed me, is that done on the phone too?
Yeah, that one too.
Bro, you're insanely good. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait until everyone gets to see your stuff.
And that's one reason with the digital stuff that I'm loving, so that I can do stuff like this for the community. And that's kind of like what I'm planning. So when we have this every month too, I kind of want to do like a drawing for every guest too. So like,
oh, that's cool, man.
Kind of their favorite character, or I don't know, maybe I'll ask him, because I don't know, we still haven't really figured out like kind of when because we haven't even like picked the next one, right? We haven't even like really thought. I mean, I have some in mind, obviously, but but enough about me. This one's about Matt. So first things first, how long have you been collecting, and what got you into comics originally?
All right, so I've got a huge gap in my story, which is, and you'll know why. I mean, I started collecting when I was little. My brother-in-law, who's passed away now, he died of cancer in 2008. But he dated my sister since I was probably about 8 years old. So they were like middle school sweethearts, high school sweethearts, and they got married and stuff. But he came in my room one day and he's like, hey, man, like, I think I was 8 or 9. And he's like, here is a stack of books that I've read. I think you'll like them. And he handed me, a huge stack of comic books. And so, he had all kinds of goodness in there. So I started reading that stuff, fell in love with it all. And then at the time, of course, I'm like all the others, 90s kids. Or 80s kids that are growing up in the 90s. I was watching Batman Adventures, X-Men animated series, Spider-Man animated series, Star Wars is a big thing in my life. So anything like that I was watching and enjoying and falling in love with. And in the 90s, it was really, really big thing to get cards, basketball cards, football cards. And so I'd go to this place called J&M Sports Cards, and I'd go in there to buy Michael Jordan cards. I was a huge Michael Jordan fan. And I wanted to get Green Bay Packer cards, So I was looking for all these sports cards. And then when I walked in, I saw on the wall that they had comics. And I was like, hey, I've been reading comics lately. I need to get some more comics. So I asked my mom. She's like, yeah, we'll grab a few. And I started just falling in love with comics. And I started reading a lot of them. And then finally I get my own money a couple years later, and I went and bought my first Ghost Rider, which you guys have seen. Have you seen it?
I think you might have. Let's see it.
Well, it's really easy. I have it framed right here next to me, but this is the first comic I bought with my own money.
God,
And this one came out in 91, 92, or 93. I can't remember what year. Let's see.
That's
93.
93. So yeah, that's
I was 10 years old.
Yeah, that's right around the same time. I think the first one I'm pretty sure that I bought with my own money was Spawn #1, and that's right around the same time. So
heck yeah, man. I mean,
I wish I still had the original one.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about you the other day because I think you told me one of the Grails that you'd like to get is Spawn 1, right? 9.8 newsstand.
Yeah.
Right?
Signed. Yeah, because I have a raw one, but I mean, it doesn't have to be signed because, like, I mean, in a perfect world, yeah, you know, like the signature series 9.8, but part of me also wants to get it signed myself too, you know. So I don't know, because like the raw one that I have, I'm holding off on sending it to CGC because it might be the 9.8 maybe, but I don't know. But I'm kind of keeping that raw for now in case I have a chance to ever meet him and get it signed. But,
yeah, that'd be cool. I was thinking that the other day, I was like, you know how cool it'd be to send him that, and then I'm like, but I don't want to get it signed because I think he wants that experience, you know. I was having a conversation in my head, man.
And that's literally the conversation I have in my head too, because I'm like, if I was to come across a signature series 9.8 of that, I mean, I know I get it, you know. So it's,
yeah.
But that's why I kind of want to keep that raw one for that situation if we ever
have that experience.
Yeah,
man. I mean, all the stuff in the 90s, like Jim Lee. I love Jim Lee's X-Men run of the 90s, and so I mean, every time I see Jim Lee, I just know it's Jim Lee, and I love it because that's what I grew up looking at, you know.
Yeah.
And so I mean, like I collected a lot through middle school, through high school. My pile that my brother-in-law gave me grew, but I got married really young. So 2 days after we graduated high school, me and the girl who had 7 got married. And so then we took off and we moved to Utah 2 days after that. And so I didn't have any more time or money to be spending it on comic books. And so that was 2002 when we got there to Utah. And I had to work.
We had the Olympics.
Yeah.
So
we were there when the Winter Olympics were going on, man.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but I mean, I was so young, man. And I mean, I was 18. She was 17. Our first son was born later on that year. And I had to work 4 jobs just to pay for bills and food. Like I look back on it and it was as rough as could be, but I have so much fondness for those years because I was hustling for my family. And me and the girl who had 7, it was just the 2 of us up there with my brother-in-law that gave me the comic books and my sister, they lived there too. And so it was just the 4 of us there, like having this awesome experience together. But we had our first son that year. Then the next year we had our daughter. Then 2 years later we had another son. And then within a 10-year span, we had our 7 kids. And so all that time, I totally didn't buy. I think I walked into a comic shop like 2 or 3 times trying to get my kids into it. And then I realized how expensive it was. And I wasn't making good money, you know, when I had my first 4 kids, I was just, you know, paycheck. It was tough. I wasn't making much money. So it was great. Don't get me wrong. I loved it, but I didn't have the extra money for comics.
Right.
So I completely just stayed away from comics probably from about 2002 to 2015. That's a good 13-year break, man.
Yeah.
Everything changed too. Like when I was a kid, I didn't know anything about grading. I don't even know if CGC existed back then. Like I just collected comics to read them, to have them. You can see how beat up this thing is. Like I read it 100 times. You know what I'm saying? Like I just threw them wherever. I didn't think about, you know, the investment part of it and all that. But 13 came along. And I think 2013, I might be wrong. Whenever Man of Steel came out, I remember going to the theater and watching that movie, and I didn't grow up a big Superman fan. So I really used to, when I was a kid, I'm like, oh, Dragon Ball all the way, Goku would whoop Superman's butt. You know, like I was all against Superman growing up, and I don't know why, but I went and saw that movie in the theater, and I was like, well, I loved my Superman, the Death of Superman comics, but I haven't read them forever. And so I went and pulled them out, and I started reading them with my kids. And we started reading all of the issues that we had, and then I'm like, "Whoa, the story stopped. It doesn't go on anymore." So I'm like, "Let's go to the comic shop." So I took my kids, we went to the comic shop, and found the next couple of issues to finish the story. And then all of a sudden, man, I was at a comic shop every week picking up issues that I needed to finish runs from the 90s. And then I started picking up new books, and it just went downhill from there.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, like when I first got back into it, I in 2000 and I think it's 13 or 15, whenever that movie came out, I had a little bit more money than I used to, owning my own business, and had some big blessings from God, you know, but I had too much money and too little knowledge. And I think you guys have heard my story of the Star Wars #1 and the guy telling me it's a 10.0 and me spending all that money on it.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. Oh, wow.
There's a comic shop literally less than 5 minutes from my house. So I started going in there all the time. And I didn't know about grades or anything. And so I'm talking to this guy, and I feel like he's my friend, and he's telling me about great grades and things. And the longer I got into collecting, the more I started, hey, thank you, Werewolf by Lunchtime. The longer I got into collecting, the more things I figured out, the more I realized, man, this guy is taking me for everything I'm worth, you know? Right. And the last straw was at Star Wars, you know? I mean, he's like, I promise it's a 10.0. And I'm like, well, what is a 10.0 and all that jazz? And I spent $475 on a Star Wars 1 that came back a 6.5.
Oh. So there's amateur hour where you go.
Yeah, for sure.
I love those shows because you learn so much. It's like, geez, like,
I mean, I can definitely relate with that being out for a long time. I mean, when you get back in, because that was us a couple years ago. And
yeah, I mean, I went from being 18 years old to 30 something when I got back into collecting. You know, like there's a huge gap there. And I should have been wiser. The first time my wife went with me, she's like, I don't trust this guy. Don't buy anything from him. And I still, like, for months kept buying from him, you know. And then finally that happened. And then I started learning more and getting into YouTube. And I'm like, what did I do? So I don't think I've stepped foot in there once since like 2015 or 16. So, and
we're the best.
Well, that's in bad karma. He has his way, you know, so.
Yeah.
As we've learned, comic is real, and so it'll come back around.
Yeah. You know what? It's crazy too. Like I have another LCS now, and that guy used to shop with the same guy that was taking me for my money, and he had the same issue, and he left him, and then he's like, he actually got angry at that guy because that guy had he had a pull list. My new LCS owner, he had a pull list at the other guy's shop, and he got there one day, and the guy's like, oh, I didn't get your books in. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, your books didn't come in. I'm sorry. But he's like, it's a really hot book. Am I going to get it? He's like, yeah, they're coming, but it's not in yet. So he left, and then he decided to go back, and the guy had a whole bunch of them, and he was giving them all to one other guy. This other guy came in and like took a whole bunch of them. And he's like, hey, that's my book. He's like, no, but I didn't get yours in. He's like, no, what are you talking about? So they had this huge falling out. He CGC'd some of the books. They came back purple label, restored, and all kinds of stuff. So he got so mad. He's like, that's it. I'm going to go start my own shop. The guy's like, try it. And he's been doing it now for 13 years, man.
Nice.
So so when I went over there one day, the other guy came up and we were talking about it. He's like, oh, let me tell you my story. So
right.
Crazy, man. It's crazy.
There used to be a shop somewhat like that around here, and it's gone now. Like it went under, but yeah, it's crazy that people can run a business like that too, you know, like for me as someone who owns two businesses, I think to myself, your greatest asset is your customer or your client, because they're the ones that are going to make you have the money or not have the money, right? And so if you make them happy, if you give them a great product or a great type of work scope, they're going to love you and they're going to keep coming back. And I had plenty of money to spend. And if that guy had been up front with me from the beginning, I'd still be shopping with him all these years later. He'd have all the money from all of these years from my pocket, you know? Yeah. But instead he tried to pull, you know, and instead of telling me it's a 10.0, if he had said it's a 6.5, he wouldn't have gotten that sale, but I would have bought so many other things from him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
And so I think he missed out.
For real, yeah. In the long run, he is. Yeah, he is the one that misses out.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I want to shout out the chat again. Thanks, Bake the Snake, Barbarian Kung Fu, for being here.
Hey, Barbarian.
Good to see you guys.
And Grail is up in there. Yeah, I think I saw Grail ask. He has like an iPhone 5 if he can draw on that. I'm not sure because like I mean, I've never had an iPhone. I've always been Android, and I just use just different like paint and drawing apps that I've found on the Play Store. So
yeah.
I'm not really too sure on it. You kind of did touch on it for a second there, because I was going to ask also how long you've been doing YouTube.
Yeah, so my 2-year anniversary will actually be this week on Wednesday.
Really?
So January 15th, 2018 is my first video.
Okay,
So
wow,
awesome.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So 1 year.
Yeah, because I always keep forgetting to mention that this show's pretty much the 1 year for Married with Issues too, since because we came back doing YouTube, and at first I think we were still calling it like the Solgr and Fusha only show or whatever, like our video game show.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it was.
But but the first video that we actually called like Married with Issues #1 was like on January 12th, right?
Yeah. January.
Oh, sweet.
It's been a year.
And that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys. That's awesome.
It's even better that we're going to have you on the show today too. Like it's
with
awesome.
your 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, and JP's 1 year is tomorrow as well. So
see,
wow. Yeah. See, we all started.
It's so crazy.
That's really crazy.
Like the one other question we had was, how did you discover the community?
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching, and I can't remember the name of the channel, but there was oh man, what's the name of the channel? I can't remember. But I before I even thought about getting on YouTube, I would watch 2 comic book channels. One was a guy that would talk about like politics and comics. And then I followed him for a really long time, but then he kind of went over the deep end and started getting really like deep into it and started like that whole comics gate. I think that's what it's called.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of it.
Yeah. And they went a little far for me because I have my views, but I like to stay right in the middle because I like to love people on both sides of the aisle, you know? Right. And they started like going way off. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to watch you guys anymore. But then I also loved Variant. Do you guys know Variant? Yeah, and so I was watching him all the time and like, oh man, this character versus that character, the history of this character, and I loved it.
He's got an awesome channel.
Yeah, he's so great. And then so when the other guy went off the deep end, I can't remember the name of the channel. I was like, well, I'd like to do something like that, but not go off the deep end. You know, I'd like to be able to discuss comics from my point of view. And then I started thinking about that for a long time and like, well, if you get yourself into the political lane of comics, you're really like gonna cut yourself off from a lot of people, and you're gonna get a lot of hate. And I didn't want that, so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So I started thinking about what I could do, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna talk about Rogue and Gambit because that new Rogue and Gambit issue was gonna come out, and I was gonna get it, and I'm like, let's talk about Rogue and Gambit. I like them. I want to try it. So my very first video ever was like the camera facing my desk right here, and it was me talking about Rogue and Gambit #1, you know, and I loved it. I called all my friends, my family. I'm like, I started a YouTube channel, like come watch. And then slowly as I started like doing that, I started meeting different people. Like I met Bueller, and I remember Bueller had less subscribers than I did, and he calls me up. He's like, hey, what camera are you using? And I like your setup in the background. Give me some pointers. And I'm like, oh yeah, Bueller, like this and that, you know? And all of a sudden Bueller's like,
right, I know.
And I just started meeting different people in the community, and just like at first I was really focused when I first started doing it because I was really business mindset. I'm gonna get on here, I'm gonna get lots of subscribers, I'm gonna make money, right? And which was okay because it helps me with my other businesses, because I actually set up a business for YouTube. So it's worked out to where, you know, tax things and all kinds of stuff, it's like really great. But as the further I got along, like I remember meeting Metarog, and Metarog, he won, I think, my 100 subscriber giveaway. And my LCS guy, he gave me all of the Superman 1000, Action Comics 1000?
Yeah, Action 1000.
Yeah, they all had, there's a whole bunch of different like variants, right?
Yeah, it's like all the different decades, yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that? Okay, yeah, so he gave me all those for free. He's like, give them away for your channel. So I was like, oh, okay, I will, man. Like, thank you so much. And then Metarog won all of those. And so when I started making friends, my idea of me pushing it just business started to change to like, I really like doing this because of friends, you know?
Yeah.
And so there's a couple other guys that I absolutely won't name because I'm not like that. I don't like calling people out, but that were really business oriented. And as they grew with me and then they passed me, they kind of disappeared and stopped talking to us and kind of went off and did their own thing, which I'm happy and proud for them, you know. And I don't know, when you have a ton of subscribers, maybe it's really hard to do that. But that helped me kind of make up my mind, like, I don't care if I have 10,000 subscribers or 100,000 one of these days. I'm still going to talk to the guys that have 100. I'm still going to talk to my friends every week because that's what matters about this community. You know, we get to have a lot of fun, and we get to learn to love each other and have experiences like we did with 12 Days of Christmas and you guys coming on the show. If I was too busy, like being I'm going to go get a lot of subscribers and forget everybody, we wouldn't have had that moment.
Genuine.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
And I would take that moment with you guys over anything else. You know what I'm saying?
I would too. Yeah,
exactly. I'm still thankful that he got me into the community, because I know at first on Instagram he's like, use this hashtag. I'm like, but how can I, like, why am I calling him family if I don't know him and I don't know what's going on? And then I just I start interacting more and more. I'm like, they are family. It is family, and it just blew up from there. So yeah, absolutely, it's so awesome to hear.
Comic book cousins.
Yep, comic book cousins.
Indeed.
Thank you guys. Thank you, everyone, showing me love. I love you guys too. I really do.
Yes, hey, Life with Two YouTubers. Thanks for joining us as well. Sam Stingled-Webb, D-Runkins in here somewhere, Fire Davis.
And Metarog.
I can't shout out the chat like Jeffrey does, but I try.
Yeah, no, you do well. You do well. Yeah, and so I don't know. I mean, I just started finding different people, and just I'd watch different people, and then I remember like having 100 subscribers and wanting to do the whole thing where I grow at the same time as I get to know people. And at first I did it wrong. You know, I was like, okay, I'm going to message this person and then hopefully they'll see me and then they'll sub me back and then I can grow, you know? And I had the wrong mindset. As soon as I started actually messaging people because I was genuinely like, I love your channel. I love what you're talking about. I want to be your friend. Everything for me changed. And I mean, I don't know if it's evident in the way I was doing things, but definitely in the way I started thinking and the way I started feeling here. I'm like, man, these people are actually people I wish I could hang out with, people that I wish lived next door to me, people that I wish I could drive over their house and hang out for Christmas with them. You know what I mean? So that changed everything.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to all that too. And we say that a lot. Like we wish that there was, some people in the community that were a little bit closer to us. I mean, like even you're not really like too crazy far, you know. But
you guys are in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd probably take me about 13, 14 hours to get to you guys.
Yeah, I think probably. Yeah.
I usually can make it to Provo in 12, 11 if I hustle.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I think you guys are about 45 an hour from Provo.
Yeah, probably about that.
Yeah. Depends on traffic, right?
Yeah.
A little further.
Yeah, I haven't drove to Provo in a long time, but yeah, I think it's about that. Not too much longer than that.
McD, I wish I lived closer to you guys. We do too, man.
Yes. You need our time zone, so then you're not staying up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning every day. That's not how you do it, McD.
For real, yeah.
More power to you.
Yeah. I think I saw someone in chat say like happy early birthday to McD too.
Yeah, his birthday's next Sunday, I think.
Okay, so next Sunday, yeah. Happy early birthday.
Happy early birthday yet. See, it's coming up. The time goes by too fast.
So I asked I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Fusha.
No, you're good.
I asked my wife to be my girlfriend on January 18th, 2000. So this year and like next Saturday will be our 20 years we've been dating or together, man. It's crazy.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I asked her yesterday. I went up to her and I'm like, hey, can I take you on a date next Saturday? Will you be my girlfriend for next Saturday? She got all emotional, started crying. She's like, yes, I will go out on a date with you. So we're gonna be on next Saturday. We'll be on a date, but I'm glad we got to do this today.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad we were too. And
soon to be anniversary. Like that's so awesome.
I mean, because we're at what, 7 years?
7 years.
7, yeah. So
it was 2013.
It's crazy how fast it goes by, for sure. And
yeah,
I'm sure you can relate to.
Man, there's so much stuff that I don't remember. Like I wish, like, you lose it all, you know. And I wish I had been better at journal keeping, because we've had so many cool experiences, and I'll forget, and then all of a sudden something will trigger a thought. I'm like, oh, do you remember when we did this? She's like, oh yeah, totally. You know, and it's like, life has been good.
That's why, I mean, she's big on taking pictures and stuff, and sometimes it drives me nuts, you know, and then in hindsight, there always comes a time where I'm like, oh, I'm glad that you took that, you know, or like when we're looking at pictures and I remember something that I totally like forgot.
The one video I wish I still had was when I surprised him with his first tattoo. He didn't have any tattoos when I met him. And I'm like, I got to change that. And I had met one of his friends that he was an old time friend with, that grew up with him back in school. And then that's when I had completely surprised him with that. Oh, hey, it's going to be a fun and exciting day. We're going to the DMV, because I had the day off to take care of stuff. And then once after the DMV we go over, I was like, hey, let's go see your one friend that's at the tattoo shop. And it was just, next thing you know, you're getting a tattoo. It's like, wait, what? I still have a picture from the video, but I don't have the video anymore. I'm like,
so what did you think, man? Were you like freaking out? Were you excited? Like, what did you think?
I was, because like obviously, I mean, I started drawing in 7th grade because of like my love of tattoos and tattooing and stuff, and always wanted to be a tattoo artist. But I'm glad that I didn't actually start getting tattoos at a younger age, because I had a lot of dumb ideas. Like, I'm glad I didn't get tattooed back then, because like I have a lot of tattoos now, but I don't like regret any of them, you know.
He has more than me now. I'm like, I got you your first one, and now you have more. Fair.
And just the fact that she went to my friend that she did, you know, because like she said, it's someone I've known for a very long time. Like, he's literally like a brother. He's the one that actually ended up apprenticing me when I did my apprenticeship.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I was surprised, and I was kind of like, you know, a little nervous somewhat too, of course. And
he was confused, if not anything else, because I kept saying how fun it was going to be to go to the DMV.
Like, but then when you said that we're going to stop,
we're going to have to sit in line forever.
I'm like, this chick is crazy. Like, you think we're going to have a good time at the DMV? I'm like, you're talking to somebody who's been thrown out of the DMV before.
This chick is crazy. That's awesome.
It was great.
I love it.
Ended up stopping there. I'm like, all right, she's up to something.
Yeah. No, man, I know a few guys that they got tattoos when they were younger, and they are so ashamed of them now. Like, you know, like, it's, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it wisely. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And even when I was,
sorry,
what's
go ahead.
That? Well, no, I was gonna say, even when I was working at a shop, and if someone came in with kind of an out there idea, I would make sure, I'm like, you're sure, like, you know, you're not drunk or anything, you know? Like, first of all, I would with her drunk, but you know, I just make sure, like, you're sure, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
almost try to talk them out to get them to think, you know, like, really think this through right now, because this thing's gonna be permanent. I saw a guy just yesterday when I was eating, and he had a Tweety bird right here on his cheek, and I was like, that. Like, I was like, dude, like, you know, he didn't want that. You know, I don't know. I was just like, wow.
I mean, you're like, you know, he regrets that now.
Yep.
Like,
and it looked, I mean, it was drawn bad, and it was right here, like his whole cheek, and I'm like, oh, dude, what did you do?
There's some things you can't come back from.
Yep.
It's crazy. My mom is it was the tradition to get a tattoo on your 16th birthday. So I got my first tattoo on my 16th birthday, and it's like like a couple weeks before my 16th birthday. I was like, can I get a piercing instead of a tattoo? And she's like, no, it's a tradition. You're getting a tattoo. I'm like, but I just, okay, fine, whatever. And we ended up getting like the kinji, or symbols of our elements, because there's the horoscopes and the elements. And so it's like my mom, brother are fire, my sister's water, and then me and my other sister are earth. And so we all have the element of
your elementals.
that we
The
got at
elementals,
16.
right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But then the one other question I did have for you here is, if you're the birth 7, how many siblings did you have, or do you have?
Yeah, so I have 5 sisters and no brothers. So I got brother-in-laws now, which is cool.
Nice.
But yeah, so I have 2 older sisters and I have 3 younger sisters. And I was the only boy. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun growing up. I did all the dirty work. I was like, my friends used to call me a Mattarella because my dad, like, he had that old school, you want to borrow $20, then you're going to wash all 3 vehicles inside and out. If you don't do it right, you don't get any money. If you do it right, then I'll give you $20, you know? Like,
Right.
Oh, my
man, every morning before school, I had to have my chores done. And my dad would literally walk upstairs and check before I could go to school. Like, it was military. My grandpa was in the Marines, and he raised my dad like with the not the flute, the trumpet, and like getting him up early and like. So my dad wasn't as hardcore as my grandpa, but he was definitely hardcore, man.
I believe it. Yeah.
My 2 older sisters have lupus. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that before.
Yeah,
So-
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's an autoimmune disease that, you know, attacks you in different ways. So McD would know about, you know, autoimmune diseases. But like my oldest sister, she has had 3 kidney transplants because of it. And I've literally seen her like at the hospital, sick as can be, and all of a sudden the machine's like, dee, and they like got to run us out of the room and bring her back to life. Like we've had some crazy stuff happen with my 2 older sisters in my life. And my brother-in-law that actually passed away of cancer, he gave her his kidney. And then when he passed away, his kidney died inside of her like within a week or 2. Craziest stuff ever. And
Wow.
so like she, so anyway, I don't want to get into this like really sad thing because she's had a really like rough, crazy life, but she's been blessed as well. Both of my sisters growing up were really sick. So like one of my sisters, whom I love with all my heart, she would milk it. You know what I mean? She'd milk it. She'd be like, "Oh, Dad, I'm not feeling good. Can you have Matt do my chores?" And my dad's like, "Go do your sister's chores." So not only would I have to do my chores, I'd have to do both of my sister's chores, you know. But I'll tell you this: I now own my own business and I do landscaping, right? So I do commercial landscaping. So I go take care of big old businesses and make sure that their landscape looks beautiful. And most of the time it's maintenance. I also do install, but most of the time it's just maintenance, just taking care of it, maintaining it, right?
Yeah.
And my employees are always like, "Dude, you're too hard on us, man. Like you have an eye that is just like over the top, man. Like I'll go to a job after they're done and I'm like, okay, we didn't do this. We need to work on that. We got to fix this. You need to do that again." And they're like, "I just looked it over. I thought it was perfect." They're like, "Yeah, well, it's not. Let's go." They're always like, "Man, you were like so hardcore." But I attribute it to my dad. Like I have to take care of the outside of the house. And so he'd get home from work 5, 6 in the evening. He's an attorney. So he'd be in his tie and his suit. He'd literally get out of his car, walk outside, and walk the yard with me. This is a daily occurrence. And he's like, "Okay, you missed some trash there underneath that bush, and I see this over there, and you forgot to water that one plant." He's like, "Do it all again." And I'm like, "All of it?" He's like, "Do it all again so you learn not to mess up again." So I'd have to redo like a whole hour and a half worth of chores, man. And so, you know, when I was a kid, I'm like, "I hate you, Dad." You know what I mean? And now as an adult, I'm like, "All right, I get it.
It makes sense now.
It's
comes
crazy
from
how that
circle.
works because
Yeah.
you know, there's definitely things that I was hated as a child or something, but
Yep.
But it's
so
like,
grateful for him now, and
yeah,
it's
it's like
crazy.
my older sister growing up. She'd always say, "Will you go to Conoco for me and get me a Dr. Pepper with the Cool Ranch Doritos?" And she'd always say, "You can keep the change and get whatever you want with the change." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Thinking I'm going to get something out of it." The change was never more than 35 cents. It was like, I still just, you know, so it's like siblings. That's what they do. But yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah, man. But no, I mean, it was fun growing up with sisters. My little sister that was right under me, she was like my Robin to me being Batman. Like she did everything with me. So she's 4 years younger than me, but like we go out in the desert and like terrorize and ring and run, and we were crazy kids, man. But she, you know, I was 12, she was 8, I was 16, she was 12. You know, like she was with us all the time. We're playing tackle football out there with the friends in the street, and my little sister's playing tackle football with the guys. Like she's a beast, man.
So that's crazy.
A lot of fun. And then my 2 other sisters, I was definitely close with them, but like my baby sister, she was 2 years old when I got married and moved. So she was really little, so I didn't really get to grow up with her, but she's definitely a huge part of my life. And then my other little sister, she was, I think, 7 when I moved out of the house. And my mom calls me like a week later. She's like, Alex has been sleeping in your room on the floor every night. And she's like, when you left and drove away, she went up to your room and she just lied on your floor and just cried. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm really close to them. Like I deeply love my sisters. So it was good growing up with the 5 of them and taking care of them. And I got scars on my hands from fist fights from beating up boys that were messing with my sisters. It was fun. It was fun.
That's very awesome. Yeah, you were an only child, and my brother, 2 sisters. It's so cool to find out and learn all these new things.
Yeah. I mean, I was like an only child, but I grew up with my cousin like we were brothers practically, and like your sister, he was 5 years younger, so he was always doing stuff with us, you know, who was 5 years older, so he was kind of getting into crazy stuff when he was a lot younger than he should be.
Yeah. Hanging out with his big cousin.
Yeah. That's cool. And then so we did have like a couple just kind of random questions.
Cool.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Okay, so
if you guys know me, a lot of people in the chat will know me too. I detest pizza. I am not a pizza fan at all, man. So I don't know, since I was little, my mom was telling me the other day, she's like, I remember I used to cry, like, we're gonna go get pizza, and most kids are like, yes, pizza, and you're like, no, not pizza. I don't know what it is, but I just never liked pizza. But if I'm forced to eat pizza, I will put onions, sausage, mushrooms, green bell peppers, and a heck of a lot of pineapple. So my answer is yes, pineapple on pizza.
When you eat it, you don't like hate it or anything? It's
so I don't know, man. Like I found out this year that I have gluten intolerance, and I'm also I have a lot of acid reflux. So I don't know if like the combination of the sauce and just bread like made me feel sick since I was a kid. But after I eat pizza, I literally feel sick every time, like almost immediately. So I don't crave it. I don't like it. My wife's gonna get the kids pizza. Like I'll usually make myself something. But it's crazy because I pass it on to 2 of my kids. 2 of my kids detest pizza as well. And so like I don't really know anybody else that doesn't like pizza. Most people love pizza.
That's literally what I was just thinking. I'm like, have I ever met anybody that has said they don't like pizza? That's why I'm kind of like, that's crazy. But no, I can see that because I think marinara, I'm pretty sure marinara would definitely, with like acid reflux and stuff, like,
I can get that.
Would be good for it.
Growing up, I was a vegetarian of the family. Like I wouldn't eat chicken, I wouldn't eat meat, I wouldn't eat turkey. It wasn't until I was maybe like 14 or 15, my brother paid me $1 to taste turkey.
Really?
Because I wouldn't eat meat growing up. So is it
just something you didn't like? Like you just naturally, I'm not a fan of that?
Yeah, it was just, I wasn't a fan of steak or chicken or ribs. I wasn't a fan of it. And then I remember the first time I ever tried steak, it was like an Applebee's steak with a sauteed mushrooms and onions. And I was like, I've been missing out on this my whole life. Like, this is what I've been missing out on. And so now I eat a lot more meat. But yeah, growing up, I was a very picky eater growing up.
Yeah. My daughter's like that. My oldest daughter, she's not a real big meat fan. She doesn't like sausage with her morning stuff. She doesn't really like steaks or hamburgers. Like she'll do a chicken nugget or like a chicken strip always, but like the red meats, she just not a fan.
Yeah. That's weird. I have an aunt that like she won't eat like animals that fly or something like that. Like,
Really?
Like, yeah, it's really specific like that.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's like all the times growing up, my mom would make steak dinner for everyone. She'd be making me something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
So, but yeah, that makes sense though. With the
What about you guys with pizza? Pineapple or no?
yes.
Yeah.
No,
I like it either way. Like, I like it with or without. I think it's good.
I mean, I have had it with it. I mean, I kind of have these weird like fruit allergies now anyways that I kind of developed 10 years ago or so. Yeah. But growing up, I used to love fruit. I used to eat a lot of fruit, but now I get like these like allergic reactions and stuff with it. So yeah, now I'd say no. But I mean, before I didn't really mind it. I thought it was a little weird, maybe. Yeah. But I love pineapple and I love pizza, but together. Yeah.
I can do meat, but I can't do seafood. The closest I get to seafood is fish.
So my favorite thing in the world to eat is sushi. And like when you get raw salmon, like sashimi, that is my favorite thing in the world.
That's the closest I get is fish and sushi.
That's cool.
Lobster and all that. I can't.
No.
I've even tried it once just to be sure I don't like it. I've even tried it once. I'm like, nope.
That's the thing about me too. Like I'm like you. I'll try it once. The only thing I won't eat is like anything I feel like morally wrong about. So like I can't eat a dog or a cat. Like I can never do that. My wife the other day, we were having this argument with the kids, and she's like, "Okay, we're on an island, and you know you're gonna be saved, but you have to eat your dog in order to live like a week so that you can like make it." I'm like, "I'll die. I'm gonna die." She's like, "You wouldn't come home to me and the kids. You wouldn't eat the dog." I'm like, "No, I can't eat my dog. Like, there's no way I can eat the dog." She's like, "I would eat my dog so fast." And I was like, "Yeah, you would, Miss Punisher fan."
I know, right? Yeah, you would.
That's great.
We always have these crazy conversations like that, you know.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
we used to.
That's so awesome.
We used to debate like what we would do, like if the zombie apocalypse like broke out, you know, like right now, like, literally, like where would we go, you know?
My older sister says that I'd be the Murdoch of the apocalypse, where we would go to different hospitals and get just enough meds to keep me in my right mind frame.
Yeah,
but I'd have to go out just to survive. So I'd be the Murdoch of the apocalypse.
Yeah, the place we're going is the hospitals. Yeah.
Oh man. So okay, I know you guys are asking me questions, but what is if there was a zombie apocalypse? What is the best weapon that you'd want to have?
A hatchet.
Weapon.
Hatchet.
So like one of those, not like the bigger hatchets. What are they called?
Well, like an axe.
Yeah. Well, no, like a. I can't think of it.
Like a machete?
Yeah, machete. That's
yeah,
like a machete.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely kind of keep it like Walking Dead style, where you definitely have like a knife or something for close, and then something like.
I've never shot a gun before though, so I don't know if those.
No.
Yeah.
I definitely take my guns, but you're gonna run out of bullets, you know.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So, like I'd be all samurai sword.
Yeah, there you go.
Like Michonne.
I have 2 samurai swords in my room right here. I got them all over the house, man. I'm ready.
I too. God, I had a buddy that got into fully blown like collecting, like even like getting into medieval type weapons and stuff, cool. And it was cool. Yeah, he had stuff.
Growing up, there's my brother's friends that lived like right around the corner from my mom's house, and they used to make their own swords. And they the samurai swords that they used to make, and it was just the coolest thing. Awesome. I remember seeing my brother. And,
one of the coolest documentaries I've ever watched, and like every time it's on PBS, I sit and watch it. It's about how the samurai sword came into being, and it talks about the history of the samurai sword and the difference in samurai swords, and they used to test it. And this is kind of violent, I guess, but they used to test their swords in Japan in feudal times by how many heads you could chop off with one swipe.
Wow.
And so like one of the records is it's a 15 head sword. That's like the best sword ever created. And like it's in Japan right now, like in one of the museums, you can actually go see it.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this whole show and I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like it's so awesome.
I always love stuff like that too, especially like feudal Japan times and stuff like that. Like even like if you've ever read Sun Tzu's Art of War and stuff. Like we were talking earlier about like growing up when I used to write graffiti and stuff. Like we applied even that book to our graffiti back in the day. Like how we went about it. And
I just got a spotlight McD saying he would kill zombies with the bagpipes since he's in Scotland.
Yeah, McD, there you go, baby.
That'll do.
That's awesome. And Joe says, I want to chop some heads off now.
Yeah, and I think that said, it might have been Werewolf by Lunchtime, but he said a PS4 controller.
There you go, baby. That's right.
Yeah, it was Werewolf by Lunchtime.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Last question. Whoops, did I pull that out again?
Maybe. Did you? I don't know. We're still.
I can hear you guys.
All right, there we go. Where our mic gets plugged in, it's USB things messing up. Where'd it go? Okay, so what are actually no, maybe two more. What's your ultimate grail or on your hunt list for this year?
Okay, so when I say ultimate grail, there are the ones that are attainable now, and there are ones that are not attainable unless I become a millionaire.
Right. Yeah.
So my ultimate grails are, of course, Action 1 and Tech 27. Right. Those two
almost go without saying.
Yeah, man. Like that's the best there is. But right now, my attainable grails are AF-15 because Spider-Man is my fave. So I got to have that book one of these days. My wife's, which D-Runk is putting down there, is a ASM 129 in a 9.8, which the more I think about it, I'm going to go after that book just like that. And it's going to be like me hunting my wife's grail. Like I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, that's an awesome one.
I got a 9.2 right now. And so I'm going to start slowly building up so I can switch to a 9.4 and then slowly build up, switch to a 9.6 and slowly build up and try to get that 9.8 one of these days. So that's another one that really is something I'm going to go after now.
Well, there's rumors starting up about him being back in the MCU, so you might want to get it
hurry. I need to hurry, or I need to wait a few years. You know,
or wait after,
yeah. But the book I'm hunting right now that I'm the most excited about, and I have it on my phone. Let's see if I can show it because I have all these messages. Hold on. So what I like
sometimes
to do,
it's hard to find stuff.
What I like to do is I put the book that I'm after on my phone, my screensaver. And that way I see it all the time and I like go after it, you know? So right now I am hunting Hulk #1.
Ooh.
So yeah, I am after that book big time. I'm super in love with it. I think it's one of the coolest covers, the colors on it and everything. So the book I'm going after right now is Hulk #1. I actually made up my mind that I am going to go through my collection and I'm going to purge a lot of the stuff that I am not in love with. So like I have books like the first Black Mask in a 9.8 or first the Old Man Logan 9.8, first She-Hulk #1 9.8. There's a lot of books I have that don't have like a emotional meaning to me other than I just was collecting it to have it. Right. And I really want to have books that mean something to me and I want to have them in a high grade. So I've decided like I'm going to go through all of my books. I'm going to pull out everything that doesn't have an emotional attachment and I'm going to sell that. And I'm going to try to get the books that I do love. Like I have an X-Men #1 right now, which I love the X-Men. That's a big one I want to have, but I have it in a 4.0. I want to eventually move that up a little higher. I've got a Daredevil #1. I love Daredevil. I'd love to move that one up a little higher. So I have a 5.0. I love to settle around a 7.5 to a 9, which is really expensive, you know?
Oh yeah.
So,
5. Yeah, 5. Even that's good.
Yeah, it's a good one, man. But I'd love to go a little higher, you know. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to figure out the characters in the books that mean the most to me. Figure out grades that I would like to have them in. Like it's not attainable for me to get an X-Men 1 and a 9.8, right? So I'd love to end up with an X-Men 1 somewhere between a 5.0 and a 7.5. So, you know, a 5.0 is a 4.0 is amazing for an X-Men #1. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I would like to go just a little higher. And I think, D-Runk was telling me, he's like, I'll buy yours once you're ready.
Right.
So the Hulk #1, there's no way I'm gonna get that one super high. So I'm good with a Hulk 1 between a 2 and a 4. You know, AF-15, I'm good with it. Say that again?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because like especially AF-15, but Hulk 1 too. That you just don't see it at like higher grades.
So I kind of want to end up with having books that are emotionally mean something to me, have a reason why I love that book, a favorite character, and then I want to have my favorite covers. So my first pickup of the year was Avengers #57, which is the first Vision.
Yeah,
I found
love that Buscema cover.
Oh, dude, I found it at 9.0 white pages. I'm happy with it. That's what I will keep forever. Dang. So yeah, and that one's in the mail right now. So I'm super stoked about that one because that's one of my top 3 favorite covers ever.
You know, I'm really wishing I would have got it now, because like at the shop we were at today, I came across the it was a Guardians of the Galaxy variant, but it was in homage to that cover, and it was Groot.
Yep.
And yeah, like I saw it and I thought of you, because I remember when we were talking about that's like one of your favorite covers, and like of all time, and I even like I should get that for Matt. You know, I kind of like just chuckled, like,
You're
just thought about it real quick, but then I totally like forgot about it. So.
No worries, man. I was able to pick up the real thing, man, and I am stoked about it. I'm happy. It'll be one that stays. Like my Marvel Spotlight 5, the first Ghost Rider, just like Metarog, I'm a huge Ghost Rider fan. Now I love Danny Ketch more than I love Johnny Blaze, but I love them both. Yeah, so I've got my Danny Ketch and a 9.8, which is a 90s book, so it's not hard to get, $150 book. So I've got that one. My son has a copy. I have a whole bunch of raw, and then I've got my Marvel Spotlight 5 and a 9.0 white pages. That's pretty darn high for that book, and it still hasn't taken off because we haven't seen Johnny Blaze in the MCU yet. I'm good right there. Like, that is a book that I will keep forever, and I'm happy with that grade, So, I don't know. I'm excited, and I'm happy. Like, I finally was able to say, okay, I can let go of some of these books. Like She-Hulk #1, 9.8. It's a book that I was like, I'm never going to sell this one. But I really don't have an emotional attachment or a reason why. I don't even think I've ever read that book. I just had it to have it. And that's the kind of collector I want to be anymore. I want to have books that mean something to me. So
exactly.
We're definitely in the same boat too.
That's what I've noticed every time I try to start getting my 2020 list together. It's all of these sentimental books that are inexpensive, and I end up finding them before I'm even able to put the list together.
Yeah,
it's just like, but that's definitely shaped my 2020 collecting, and what it is I'm going after is more sentimental than anything.
That's awesome.
It's not going to be like the spec, sorry, it's like that's mainly.
Yeah, that's one thing we've been saying about our 2020 stuff is it's more, like you said, more sentimental stuff, to where it's probably books that's not on anyone else's list probably. But
it's the books that I want to get that I won't ever get rid of.
Yeah.
But no, that's way awesome to hear yours.
Did you have any other questions or anything? Because I thought, there was the one where I had. So what are some of your future plans or goals? You kind of went over it just now with collecting, but for like the channel and community as well.
Yeah, so I have been having an internal struggle, honestly, between the time I spent on YouTube and the time I spent with my kids and my family. And I've come to the decision that I definitely need to make sure that I'm spending a little bit more time with my kids, because I'm only going to have them for so long. I mean, my oldest two kiddos are both sophomores, and that this year's almost over. And it freaks me out thinking about them getting older, going on their missions, going to college, getting married. Like, my son, my oldest is 17. He's going to be 18 this year. Like,
so his senior year next year,
like it's sickening, man. Like, I just got literally my stomach just like dropped, just
they grew up so fast.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, because this year will go by fast too, before you know it.
So I mean, he'll be 18 this year, and my daughter will be 17. It's just I need to make sure that you guys, we love each other, and that we invest a lot of time into each other, which is great,
Right.
But I would find myself like watching YouTube at home for 3 or 4 hours while they're home from school and ignoring them.
Right.
And I realize I can't do that anymore. You know,
Right.
and so like it's hard because I want to be on everybody's show. I want to be talking in everybody's chat. I want to be watching everybody's videos and giving a thumb up and leaving a comment. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But if I'm doing that, then I'm not spending time with my kids. I'm not out there throwing the football with my sons. I'm not out there practicing soccer with my daughters. I'm not watching my kids ride their bike around the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting there reading a comic with them. And so I've decided that I definitely am going to make sure I continue to do YouTube, because at one point I was like, I'm just going to be done. I don't know if you guys heard, but I was going to say the last day that Metarog and Russ opened their gift, I was going to say peace out. You know, it was a plan for a while.
Wow.
And I tell everyone I love you guys, but I've got to take a while off. But then I had a lot of people message me after 12 Days of Christmas that really like touched me deeply, man. And the bonds that we made, like the ability that I had to hang out with you guys in McD that night, like I think about it right now and I just want to start sobbing right now. Like it was so amazing.
I know, I do too. Every time I think about it too, and like,
yeah,
I can see her goosebumps. I can see it right now. Like,
it was so special that those moments can't be forgotten or given away either. So what I have to do, and this is, to answer your question, is I just have to find the perfect balance to where I'm able to take care of my kids, get them involved more in YouTube and comics and being with me so we can have that time we get to spend too. Also spend time doing things that they love outside of this, and then support you guys and be on and do stuff, So I took that break during Christmas, and I know a couple people are like, hey, where are you at, man? Like, we haven't seen you forever. I'm just really trying to step away for a little bit so that I can give the full holiday attention to my family after the 12 days of Christmas and how demanding that was. And it was good. I think this Christmas, like I remember last Christmas thinking like, man, this Christmas wasn't that great. Like it was awesome, but I didn't feel the spirit of love and happiness. And then this year after the 12 days of Christmas, man, I was on a high. Like every night, I'm like, my heart's blown. And then I was able to say, all right, guys, I love you all. I'm going to step away and do the same thing with my family. And this Christmas was special. Like I felt so much love for my wife and my kids and for the family. And we spent so much quality time together that I just realized all I have to do is I'm going to keep doing YouTube. I'm going to keep making sure I'm on shows and I'm supporting people, but I'm also going to put my family as priority number one and make sure once they're taken care of and they feel loved and they get enough of dad and I support them in every way I can, then I'll jump on YouTube and stuff. So I do want people to know, like, if I'm not there like I normally am, it's not because I don't love you and it's not because I don't support you.
I don't think anyone would think that. So I don't think there's one person that would think that.
Family is just as important.
Yeah. I'll try to be there and I'll do my best to try to make it work both ways. So, but that's my plan. That was a long explanation, but that's my plan.
No, I'm glad that you touched on it though, because like I definitely did want to touch on the 12 days of Christmas and stuff during this, for sure, because that was something life changing, for the lack of a better term for it. But one thing I wanted to do you have all those like all those videos like on a playlist, like on its own?
I haven't yet, but I need to. They're all there up still. I just haven't made a playlist yet.
Okay, yeah, because if you do or when you do, you should send me the link so that I can like kind of shout it out or whatever, so then people can go just to like those. Okay. Like a playlist would be cool.
I'll do it, man.
But yeah, like if anyone's watching this like in replay or anything, definitely subscribe to Matt's channel, and I'm pretty sure I think I have it in the description. I think I added it last night.
Thank you.
Yeah, and check out those 12 days. It was, I don't know how you did it every day, and it was like especially like when we were on with McD, like it put me through the emotional ringer, but like you said, I loved it and wouldn't trade it for the world.
Watching you cry made me cry more, bro.
For real, because like I don't that often, and it normally takes like a lot for me to, and yeah, I was like that and Endgame were like the times when I was like, all right, keep it cool, like keep your shit together, you know.
I was audibly gasping and crying during Endgame, bro. So
yeah. I know.
I feel you.
we had gone and seen it with my sister and brother-in-law, and it just
like Endgame. I even did like the like the voice shaking part. Like God, get your crap together, man.
Get it together, man.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I think that's it for the questions, right?
Yeah.
You didn't have any? All right, yeah. So I'm kind of just opening this thing that poor Mike sent.
Oh, cool.
Let's see, there is a note here. Yeah, right here. Solgr and Fusha. I hope these books bring a smile to your faces. I love watching your shows and am glad you were able to take a break to refocus. Time off is important. You two are awesome members of this community that has accepted me into your fold. Take care, poor Mike.
Thank you again, poor Mike.
Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for all that you do in this community, because it really is like comic book cousins and turning us into family. And I couldn't agree with you more. Family is definitely important. I remember when my nephews were first born, and I was just like always babysitting them, always watching.
Mm-hmm.
And I still go to my nephews and nieces all the time. So it's
okay. So I knew what a couple of these were. The new Star Wars #1 that came out. I think he saw me mention it. I think it was to McD actually on Instagram. How I didn't pick it up like the day it came out, and when we were driving home from the LCS, I was kind of like thinking how I heard that this is kind of like the first comic stuff that's like during and after Empire. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, dang, this wouldn't have been a good point to like kind of jump on to the comics, because I haven't been reading the Star Wars stuff, and so I'm like, dang, I should have picked that up. And I was just mentioning to McD how I was probably gonna get it like the next time we went or something. And then poor Mike like messaged me like, here, I could send you these. I'm like, no, how much do you want for them? You know, I'm like, yeah. Do that. And then of course he said that he threw something else in here too, and I think this is a trade. Oh. Yeah. Look at that. There we go.
Oh, that's awesome! I love that cover.
That is beautiful.
What issues does it cover?
It covers 1 through 6. Nice. 2014 Moon Knight.
Yeah, that's the Warren Ellis one too. I've been wanting to read that run.
Thank you so much, poor Mike.
Oh, that's awesome.
Poor Mike's an awesome guy, man. He really is.
Yeah. Everyone in this community is so cool. Everyone is. I love the chemistry that everyone has. And
there's that art print that Adi Granov did.
Oh, beautiful. Let's see. Throw that up a little closer.
Oh, I love that. Wow.
Right? That's such an awesome piece.
Yes.
Oh, and it's funny. At work, I just got switched over to a different team, and he was talking to me, and he shows me this comic book that his other friend had gotten him, and it was a Star Wars book. And then I'm like, oh, I like Star Trek. And then it's like the more I was talking with my boss, it was funny because it was like he was more Marvel and I was leaning a little more towards DC, but it was still super cool to know that my boss isn't like, so I'm like, I'm glad I got switched over to his team. But
I love that cover.
Yeah, and that's the picture that McD posted, was that one, and I was like, oh, that one's awesome.
Yeah, McD actually gave poor Mike your address.
It was McD.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, because it was weird because like when she got it out of the mail, I'm like, it actually, because it had my real last name on it. I'm like, how did he get that? I mean, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care, but I'm like, I haven't really gave it to that many people yet, but. I'm like, that's interesting. And she's like, Facebook? I'm like, no, my real last name isn't even the one on Facebook either, Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
That was one of the cool things about 12 Days of Christmas is I have been getting call after call saying, hey, I want to A-OK this person. What's on their list? And I'm like, okay, let me give you the list I had. And I've had so many messages, and so many people are going to get hooked up this year. It's so fun. It's so much fun.
That was so awesome. It's just this.
Yeah, because everyone's probably figured like, well, he had to do a lot of homework for that. So he's probably got the dirt on everybody.
Yep.
Oh,
that's funny. I didn't think of that. So yeah. And then here's the other one. I hadn't even seen this variant.
Oh, that's cool. Have you seen those pictures on Facebook and Instagram where it shows Yoda with human skin color?
What?
Oh,
What?
it's the creepiest thing, man. Like
No
they
way.
have Yoda, but with like tan skin, and he looks so freaky, man. It's crazy.
I'm trying to picture that looking at him on this. And
He doesn't look right. He looks like something bad and creepy.
yeah,
That green really makes a difference.
yeah, it does.
Oh, that I still haven't seen the Mandalorian, but seeing the baby
Oh.
one all over the place is like
Yeah. The
that's
child.
brought up. The child.
This I came across at the LCS today. I wanted to show. I've been looking for that cover for so long.
Oh my gosh, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, the
Hey.
Marvel the Green Lantern rings.
It's like when Hal Jordan goes crazy and kills all the lanterns and takes their rings, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was crazy. I came across that. And this, I am so stoked. My LCS finally got it in.
Oh, Doom. You would love that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
baby.
can't wait until he finishes the Spider-Man one he's doing for you, and then the other one that's in the works. Like, so glad he's drawing again.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't wait.
for someone in the chat. So Ixnay on the drawing nay. Or however
you know what we should do though, when it's all said and done, we should get together and open them all together and then like hang out.
That's true.
Because when you send me mine, dude, I'm gonna show the world. So we got to do it live.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good idea. We will. Yeah. When I'm probably when I'm done with both of them, I'll have to send them to that specific person in you and yeah, because that's the thing. I mean, I'll probably have to like save them as like PNGs or PDFs or something, and then like email or probably email. I'm just trying to think of like how we'll do it without. Yeah, I'll have to figure it out because, like I said, this whole digital's a new, totally different medium and everything.
Can I show a book that I got in the mail?
Yeah.
Yes,
if you have anything,
do it.
go ahead.
So I got a package that I had no idea who it was from. And I opened it up and I started reading this message, and it was somebody that does not want to be named at all. And they actually asked me, do not do a video, please, and don't mention me ever. But I sat here sobbing. It was somebody that watches a lot of YouTube but never comments.
But you know who it is though?
I actually have never seen them on my channel before. And like I know them now because I've looked them up and started looking and trying to see when they commented and stuff. But it's somebody that is there and somebody that comments very rarely though. And he was like, hey, I just want you to know like what you did for 12 Days of Christmas is one of the most special things I've ever done. And he just wrote this beautiful message. And I literally sat right here opening it and just like sobbing, man. Like, and he's like, I wanted to send you this book. So I'm not going to do my own video to like keep his wish. And I was able to find him and like message him anyway and let him know how grateful I was. But I want to show you what he sent me, man, because I was jaw dropped.
Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued for sure.
Dang it, where did I put it?
Yeah, Werewolf by Lunchtime says Doom best villain ever. I need that figure. Yeah, this is like one of the best figures of Doom I've ever seen too. Like it's such an excellent sculpt, and it even has the like the older like curvy head with it too, where it's like like the older mask.
So this is a book I've been wanting for a while because I love these characters, and check that out.
Oh, that is so
Adam 28 second appearance of Black Adam. So I mean, there's the movie coming out, everything. So so like my love and my heart goes out to this person that just took their time to write me this beautiful letter and like send this to me just to say thank you for 12 Days of Christmas. So like, it's just awesome. It's just really cool. And I was like sobbing right here, like reading that letter, and like it was awesome. So thank you to him. And I will not spread the name, and I won't make my own video about it because they asked me to not to do so, but I wanted to share that with you guys because it is really cool.
It is. I like hearing that, especially because like how you said, it's someone who's there, but you don't. They might be hard to notice, if they're not commenting or whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do the same thing. Like whenever people send us like an AOK or something, I'll message them saying like we got it, and then and we'll ask like if you prefer, like if we don't like unbox it live or
I lurk a lot, but yes, in the event of showing books, I'll show one that I found today that
it kind of goes with
my
mine.
Childhood. Growing up, I loved Tweety Bird. Tweety Bird was like my all-time favorite.
Oh, you should get a tattoo like right there on your cheek.
That's why when you mentioned that, I was like,
well, the one I found today was this one.
Oh, I love that cover. I've seen that one before. That's so awesome.
I don't think I'll be as bold to get it on my cheek though.
Right,
but
right.
Well, I'm not tattooing it for you, so I'm not.
Who's the artist on that cover?
It is.
That's really cool art.
Brown. Dispute. I can't.
Looks like the
Darwin.
Looks like the signature says Darwin.
Darwin. Yeah. Darwin.
Does it look on the inside? See if it has because is that a variant or was it?
It is a variant.
My lifetime says Darwin Cook.
Darwin Cook. That's right. Yeah, I have heard that name.
That's awesome. Can I see it again one more time? That's a really cool cover. I love that cover. Yeah, that's great art.
I thought it was funny that she found that and I found that Marvin the Martian one.
Yeah.
Marvin the Martian was one of my favorite ones, and
Tweety Bird's always been a favorite of mine. And so when I saw it, I was like, "What are the chances I'm going to see this somewhere else? I need to get it today."
Have you guys seen the Instagram like post that everyone's tagging each other with like their top 5 favorite MCU and top 5 or not MCU Marvel characters and top 5? I think you both did it, right?
I did my top DC, top Marvel, and top indie.
Yeah. Okay. So I took a break from Instagram, but I've been compiling mine. And JP made a joke on his channel the other day because he knows me so well. He's like, so in Matt's top 5, he has 25 characters. And so right now he's like Black Adam and Shazam numbers 13 and 18 respectively in Matt's top 5 characters. What's hilarious about that is I sat there and I couldn't come up with my top 5. So I have, just for JP, I have 20 DC and 20 Marvel, and I'm still going to name it my top 5 characters. I'm totally going to post that on Monday.
I could totally relate to that too. Oh my God. Because that's
so awesome.
There's too many good ones, man.
Right?
I know. And I didn't realize I leaned more towards DC until I actually put my list together. And I'm like
character-wise, yeah.
Yeah, character-wise, I'm like, wait, when did this happen? Like, I'm thinking of all these other characters. Yeah.
Well, then it's funny because in what you actually read the most, it's like you read way more indie than
because a lot of my top characters I don't even have ongoings right now.
Yeah.
But if you look at my indies, they're the ones that have the ongoings.
Yep.
I mean, so much of it is like minis now.
Right. That's awesome though.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much.
So I guess if you want to thank everybody for joining us, and we'll go ahead and wrap things up since we went a little over, but nothing wrong with that.
Nice.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if we're gonna have like an hour or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. Like most things, we didn't really think it through all the way, but yeah, thank you for joining us, Matt, and everyone in chat. For our community spotlight for February for next month, I think we'll probably just announce it like probably a week before February or something.
In due time.
Yeah, somewhat in due time. So. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks everyone again. Hope you have an awesome weekend. Love y'all. See you later.
Live long and prosper.
Bye, guys. That's awesome.